Hey guys, Revolt here. I want to go over the latest or the second major balance patch for AOM Retold. I like doing these videos because it helps me remember the changes as well. So I think so. Let's go over these changes and sort of give our thoughts on them as we go. So this is balance patch update 17.3. I'll let you guys read over sort of the stability and all the fixes and things on your own. I want to try to keep this video short so we don't, uh, go over an hour. We try to try to skim through these so we can keep it as short as possible. Anyway, so the docks, general balance. So the docks now can shoot sea snakes and water carnivorous. That's really good because sea snakes were too good on water, as well as the carnivoras, and it was annoying that the dogs couldn't shoot those things. So that's an issue they fixed with the two projectiles. There's a big change on deathmatch, which is the mode I primarily play. So they changed the starting resources from 15,000 to 20,000 food, wood, and gold. I guess this was to fix, like, a lot of matches were ending before the 10-minute mark. So basically, games are ending because people are just getting out flooded by a ton of units, and it just kind of snowballs from there. And it's hard to, when you lose a battle early on in deathmatch, it's hard to stop the snowball effect of that. Will this help it? I'm not sure. I haven't tried out the patch yet, but I think there's just a lot of balance issues around a lot of units, myth units, god powers. Like right now, there seems to be just I really think deathmatch just needs a different balance patch. I don't think we're gonna get it, but there seems to be just a lot of units that are, like the Greek army being really strong, Norse being able to build super fast and take map control, and then also stopping Loki's hell myth unit spam. And so right now in the current meta, like, Norse and Greek seem to be really strong. I do think that Egypt and Atlantean take the most skill to play out of all the different civs, but so we'll see if players can catch up with those. But yeah, I really hope they take a closer look at deathmatch in general. Down the line, it would obviously be nice if we had our own balance patch, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So yeah, so let's keep going. The heroic fleet cost reduced to get a heroic fleet. So this is like the upgrade to upgrade your battleships on water. So this might help a little bit with myth units, but it's not going to solve the issue. It's really just a soft counter because right now, like, myth units dominate on water, and I forget who asked that, but someone asked, "Does like why isn't there heroes, like hero ships or something, on water?" And that's a good question because right now there's no natural counter to myth units on water. So myth units are just gonna dominate, and everyone like on water maps, everyone just rushes heroic and rushes for myth units because they dominate water, and it's gonna stay that way until I think there just needs to be a rework on the water battles. So let's keep going. We got the Greek Pantheon. So this is a really good change. This was definitely an issue, especially in deathmatch and late game standard. So they changed it so that favor rate now has a curve. So the more villagers you pray with, the less effective the favor income is. And the game really needed this because it was just too strong before. So that's a really good change. All right, Poseidon. The lure now acts like a granary. That's really cool. That should have been in the game from the start. Dionysus, Thracian horses, tech upgrade. Lifesteal 20 to 30%. I'm not sure why they added this. Poseidon did not need this. Poseidon is one of the strongest, if not the strongest god on the ladder right now in standard. So I'm not sure the purpose of this. Aphrodite curse, total unit resource value converted. So the curse can actually convert. I didn't know this, but the curse can actually convert myth units as well. But it converts units to pigs based on resource value, and they just lowered it a little bit, and that's fine because it was a little bit. Everyone was always going curse, and it was a little bit too strong. So I'm fine with this change. The centaurs, they've been needing a nerf, and honestly, this nerf, I don't think it's enough. They just change it so it costs 2 more favor, and it does a little bit less damage against heroes. I would have liked to have seen at least an extra 20 wood cost, so 200 wood, 14 favor for the centaur. I still think it's going to be a little bit too strong. But we'll see. We'll see. Archaic Age heroes. Jason, Ajax, Theseus, or Theseus. Not sure how you say that, but train time decreased from 15 to 5, and they have a bonus, more bonus against Myth. However, hit points are a little bit reduced. I like this change because, especially against like Isis, where they would rush to Ancestor's Eclipse or other type of Myth unit shenanigans. It's nice to be able to train at least one hero at home really quickly to be able to deal with stuff like that. So that's a good change, I think. Right, Ra. Ra is probably one of the worst performing gods on the ladder right now. So I think he needs a bit of a buff. And so right now the berry bushes are gathered 25% faster in this new patch. So that means the raw villagers gather berries as fast as huntable animals. So that's a really good change. I like that change. It's kind of similar. It's kind of funny if you played AoE forward. It's kind of a similar change as the Abbasid bonus in that game. So it's kind of funny to see that change because the Abbasid Civ in that game, gathers berry bushes faster as well. I still think Raw might need something else though. They might need another small nerfs or small buff somewhere. So we'll see what Raw players can do with this, but I honestly think they need a little bit something extra. Rather that be, I know the rock is basically unusable right now. People are just using it to scout, for example. Sphinxes, Sphinxes, they're not performing that well. What else? There's just a lot of small raw toolkit things that just aren't really performing well. And I really want to see some changes, some like actual changes to the way like the rock works and the Sphinx, like the ability it uses. Sometimes it's a little off. I just want to see small improvements like that. Would be really nice for Raw. Isis Flooded and Nile Tech increased 135 gold, 5 favor to 8 favor now. Okay, I mean this is a really good technology. I'm not against this change. So then we have Pitar Electrum Bullets. So now instead of plus 15% slinger damage, it does plus 1 divine damage. And then the cost increase from 100 to 150 gold, 15 favor. So I'm not totally sure about this change. We'll have to see how this affects in gameplay. We'll have to test this out. It seems like it's just a nerf overall though. All right. Plague of Serpents. So the sea snakes were definitely too strong. And it looks like these changes are only to the sea snakes. I'm not sure if this is to both the sea snakes and the land snakes, but from reading this, it looks like it's just the sea snakes. So hit points decreased 90 to 65, hack damage decreased, and then cheese distance decreased. So I agree with those changes. The snakes were definitely too strong on water, especially. All right, the Locust Swarm. This is one of the worst heroic god powers. So Locust Swarm is now wider, making it possible to damage more units. So I still need to test it. It definitely needed this buff. It probably needs even more buffs because it's pretty weak as is. So we'll have to see how this does in game. All right, the Rock can now use the patrol commands. They really need to do something else with the Rock. They need to just make it behave differently because the way that it has to land and fly off, it's the way it works. Just it's just not very good. We have the Laser Crocs. Bonus damage versus Myth increased. I like that. That's a good change. The Laser Crocs, they're slow and they should be shredding units and Myth units in general. So Scarab. I've always thought the Scarab was pretty underwhelming, so this is a nice change. Crush damage increased 55 to 75. I really like that. Yeah, we'll have to test it in game, but I really like that change. Monument to Soldiers increased 75 to 100 food, 100 gold. So this is the second monument. Sure. I'm not for or against this change. Looks fine. All right, the Norse Pantheon. So converting villagers to berserkers costs increased from 30 gold to 20 food, 30 gold. And then the dwarf to berserk increased 20 food to 30 food, 10 gold. These are fine changes. I have nothing against that. And then you can see down here as well with Loki, it's no longer free to convert. So instead of being free, it's 50% cheaper. Which I totally agree with. That was a little bit too strong for Loki to be able to just do that. So, alright, let's look at the Odin changes. Great Hunt. Maximum food created in Archaic Age reduced from 800 to 600. So I like that change, but that also means maybe in Classical Age now it's not decreased, so you could still do it. Maybe you could save it until Classical Age and do it then. I don't know. We'll have to test that out. But and then the Raven Scout got a line of sight nerf from halved, and then but it gets +4 per age up. That's a good change as well. Yeah, we'll have to see. I still think Odin is extremely strong. It might need another small nerf somewhere, but we'll see. We talked about Loki, and then we have Vidar, Fury to Fallen Tech. Now indicates affected units, yada yada. Alright, Atlantean. There's even more Atlantean buffs. So starting wood, you get 50 more wood at the start, which is nice. Economic guild upgrades. Cost reduced even further. So it was, I believe in the last patch, they already increased it from 30 to minus, negative 30 to minus 35%, and now it's negative 40%. And now the buildings are also decreased by 40%. And then also the rush radius is increased. So it's pretty funny, like Gaia acts a lot like Zerg in StarCraft 2 now. So basically the economic buildings are going to help you increase that lush as well. So I don't know. I think this is going to be interesting. I'm definitely going to be trying out some Gaia after this patch. All right, Oceanus. Water carnivore has been adjusted. Kill ships instantly. Okay. Hack damage increased and water carnivore repair armor increased. Okay, that's fine. Especially since docks can shoot it now. I think these changes are fine. All right, alluvial clay, Promethean and offspring decreased from plus 30 to plus 20. I agreed with this. The Promethean rush was a little bit too strong. So I do agree with this change. Poseidon's secret tech now also reduces cost of heroes and cav units. Okay. The tree now also spawns 2 dryads when it gets cast, and you can cast it twice for free. That's going to be really strong. That's really going to help out Gaia players as well. I like that change. I think it's going to be really strong, and I kind of like it though. All right, Hyperion. Because the thing was, like, people were always going Hyperion with Chaos all the time, so now maybe they'll start going Thea a lot more. So we have, for Hyperion, we have Heroic Renewal. Now also gives plus 10% hit points to heroes. I'm not sure why they added this. I thought it was already really strong. Yeah. So the chaos, and then the chaos cost increased from 50 to 60 favor, and cooldowning. I definitely needed that. The chaos was definitely too strong. So I do agree with these changes. All right, Leto's Spider Lair. This is another one of the most underwhelming god powers. Cooldown reduced from 120 to 90. I think that'll help. But the fact that it only spawns 3 spiders, like, it needs to be better. In my opinion, it should spawn like 5 spiders or something. I just think it's really underwhelming god power. Implode. Units are now sucked in faster. That's really good. Implode needed a little bit of a buff, so that's good. I still think that Tartarian Gate also needs a buff. It's also one of the more underwhelming Mythic Age god powers. So I'd like to see a Tartarian Gate buff as well somewhere. Alright, the Promethean. Cost increase, 75 food, 8 favor, 90 food, 8 favor. Okay. I like that. The Lampades. Yeah, they were underperforming a little bit. So damage increase from 20 crush now to 20 divine. I really like that. So they'll be a lot better against units. And then the attack range increase. It's really good changes for Hecate. Alright, the Atlantean heroes all have more bonus damage versus Myth now. Wow, this is pretty scary changes. Like this could be a little bit too good. It might actually help deathmatch quite a bit for the Atlanteans, but in standard, like, this could overperform a little bit, but we'll have to see. Thankfully, they didn't include the Arcus in these buffs, so it's just the melee. Well, they did include the Terma, but it's mostly melee units in here that are buffed. So we'll have to see how that performs, but it might be a little bit too much. They did increase the movement speed though of the Arcus, which is okay. And then the Oracles no longer with the fine select hero hotkeys. Okay. Alright, so the economic guild cost decreased. I like that. And for Gaia now it only costs 30 wood, 9 gold. Lush go burr. So yeah, I think the economic guild that helps the Lush widen. So that's gonna be really cool to try out. Mana adjusts, has more hit points, and then the build points decreased. I agree with that because the mana it costs I think twice as much as a house, so, or even more. So really like that buff as well. And other than that, there doesn't seem to be too much. Just a lot of multiplayer fixes, and I like that you can use UI mods now in multiplayer, including ranked. There's a lot of good UI mods out there. And but for the most part, that's about it. Really good changes. A lot of small changes here and there. Not too many big changes, except for Addy. Addy keeps getting buffed basically. This might be a little bit too much, but other than that, I think they're just the balancers are just sort of trying to gauge like where the game is really at, and they don't want to make too drastic of a change because I guess they don't want to make a change that's too much or too big and then have to revert it basically. So they're making small changes, kind of letting the meta develop, and then going from there. So we'll see how this plays out. I think overall it's good changes, especially the favor rate change and whatnot. So yeah, that's about it for me, guys. Overall, it's a good patch. Hope the patches keep coming. Especially, I hope they take a closer look at deathmatch as well. And yeah, that's it for me, guys. Till next time, peace.